Hi, I'm Andre Faust, and I'm at the lower end of Ross Terrace in Fredericton, New Brunswick. The area is also known as Lower St. Mary's. We are just entering pretty well the peak of the 2019 flood, and as you can see, there's water everywhere, and not a drop to drink. Now, this is only one part of the community. There was many other parts of Fredericton that was affected. Barker's Point, Nassau, Devon, part of downtown. Our art gallery was almost flooded out, and what we're looking at right there is Riverside Drive on the lower end, on the east end of the Princess Margaret Bridge. Now, when I took this footing, it hadn't quite, the river hadn't quite peaked at this point, but still there's a lot of it there. It peaked, I believe, the following day. Today's level, I think, was around 8.2 something, and when it did peak, it peaked at 8.31 or somewhere like that, 8.4, or somewhere in the vicinity. Anyway, it had covered Riverside Drive, where you see that red truck driving that was underwater. I had gone to try to film it that day, and I don't know what happened. For some reason, the track didn't, the footage didn't record on the SD drive. Well, that's the hazards of the business, but I still have to try to figure it out why, because I tried again after, and everything worked the very best. Now, what we're looking at right there is on the left-hand side of the screen. Is basically a wetland. Well, right now it's flooded, but that's a protected area. But even though there are some people who have not respected that, they filled a lot of that in. Now we're looking at the northern end of Riverside Drive. This is a down shot showing you that there is water over the road. This is the second largest flood that we've had, like back to back. It's unprecedented for the full 300-year history of the St. John River. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Last year we had a flood, which is comparable to this year's flood, so it's unprecedented that we've had two back-to-back major floods. Now, I was saying the St. John River has a history that, well, predates 300 years, but the first records of the river flooding was recorded in a little settlement called Jimsig back in 1637, or somewhere about that. Anyway, they almost closed that settlement down because the flood destroyed all their crops, and they were at risk of starvation, but food supply did come in, and to this day is now called the town of Jimsig. Now, why is this all happening, that we're getting these floods? Well, first of all, this is happening here in New Brunswick, but we've got to look at the bigger picture. In our western provinces, we're getting an increase of wildfires. In the United States, the same thing, an increase of wildfires, increase of floods. The intensity of hurricanes are increasing. Other countries are experiencing the same kind of things. Areas where it's supposed to be a drought, they're getting torrential rains. Now, there are those that don't believe in global warming, and they're adamant that it isn't. That's not what's responsible for it. Well, I'm sorry to say that's the primary cause. Yes, there's 100 other secondary causes, but that's the primary cause. Way back in 1966, a science teacher of mine, Mr. Gary Nicholson, he described back in 1966 that if we were to continue with the carbon emissions that we were doing, what he predicted is what we're experiencing now. So how did he know that in 1966? And he was quite accurate, because he gave it a time frame. He said 30 to 40 years you will see climate change in your lifetime. Well, in my lifetime. And here it is. I'm getting my senior years, but he was right on the money. You know, I'm trying not to make this an environmental video, but I just can't separate the two. What we're looking at here is McMiniman Court. They're completely wiped out from one end of the street to the other, and Jarvis Street. Just, you know, people are being displaced, and you know, it was hard enough for for them to recover from last year, and having to, you know, redo it all over again this year. It's just, you know, we are an invasive species, and you know, we've got to take ownership of what we're doing to our planet. Anyway, I'm going to sign off on this video. I'm Andre Faust. Till next time, take care.